Back speaking with Mike this morning, our Chief Operations Officer. Mike, season's greetings. Good morning.
Yeah, season's greetings to you. How are you?
Yeah, very well, Mike. Look, first RNS of the new year, 2024. The results in from it's a review of the wider Lolworth project in Queensland. I suppose just spell out for us, what are we learning? What does it mean?
Yeah, I mean, look, I think what we need to do is try to sort of put a couple of flags out for investors really to look at a bit closer. We've had some great rock chip samples. We've had some great uh, stream sediment samples. These results are. I don't want to get overly carried away when I make this statement, but 22 grams a ton's not to be sniffed at, and that's been supported with 205 ppm in the SEDS as well. So those sorts of results are extremely encouraging. We believe that perhaps Lolworth's been somewhat overlooked. Reconnaissance work isn't that sexy, but I think what we need to do is talk about the size of the project. We've got Reedy Creek, Gorge Creek, 13 and 3/4 grams a ton with an unbelievable sort of 1,395 ppm. That's incredible. When you convert that into gold a ton, I mean, that is grams a ton. It's absolutely insane. And Butterfly Creek has been particularly promising too. What the soils have shown us is that the gold is quite anomalous in soil. In some respects, it's showing us that we've got patchy gold in soil, we've got super high grade gold in the set, and then we've got really strong rock chip samples. This is a huge asset. We're starting to sort of scratch the surface at it, and we're starting to see it's particularly interesting. What do we want to do in the new year? We want to probably do a bit of trench sampling, and that's to get a better understanding of the soil, so we can see how this system and geology works. And of course, we'll be ranking target.
And look, Mike, also promising the discovery here of niobium, tantalum, and also rare earths.
Yeah, indeed. I mean, we've again, it's an aspect of the company that perhaps has been lost to the upcoming gold story. There's a lot of interest around gold. We see the gold price is particularly strong in the market, and that appears to be where a lot of the focus is, particularly given the work that we're doing right now in the drilling at Victoria. But Queensland presents a huge opportunity. We've had a bullseye sort of discovery already. This niobium and tantalum is going to be of interest, if not to the investment community right now, it's going to be of interest to sort of third parties, outsiders, potentially like looking over our fence as we look into theirs. And that's kind of where we are right now. I mean, I think from an overview, we're happy with what we've found at Queensland. We know that we've got already started to get through that target generation stage from the drilling perspective, and we've also got some additional trench sampling, etc., that we will likely elect to do. That's because it's the most commercial way to get the results that we're looking for, and then we want to go for that D word again there, and that's to get the drilling in the ground. While we've got all the guys in the field, let's get as much out of it as we possibly can, and that's the view moving forward. We're still doing some work on that. We'll update shareholders in due course on generating the targets, ranking targets, and what we intend to do for the 2024 campaign.
Well, look, just on that, so we're talking Lolworth, some 900 square kilometres of ground to explore. The focus of this RNS, three prospects, three targets, if you like, in particular. But there's lots to go after here.
Oh, there's an immense to go after. I mean, look, if we had an endless sort of budget for Queensland, we would massively ramp up our operations there. We believe that we have to be cognizant of how we spend every pound in the business. We've talked about that a lot since Nick and I was appointed, and we've again had the support of the board with this type of attitude and conservative attitude to spend where needed. We want to get everything in the ground, and we want to get as much possibly out of it for every dollar that we spend there. So yeah, I mean, with a much bigger budget, we'd ramp up our operations quite considerably. We're hopeful for Conda Pringa and that license that's under application, and as you've already identified, what that does is it gives us just shy of 1,100 square kilometres. It's a hell of a project with the two collectively, and that's aside from what we're doing down in Victoria. I think there's a lot to talk about there, and investors should stand by the beds regarding Victoria. But for now, we wanted to talk a little bit about Queensland and just the scale and magnitude of the opportunity, but indeed the results that we're having. And that is, you know, this is consistent. We're not getting high grade sed and then low grade chips and soils. What we're getting is you know, two real good confirmations. And, you know, as Meatloaf said, 2 out of 3 ain't bad day.
And of course, Mike, you mentioned what we're up to in Victoria. That's front and centre of many investors' minds currently. But you'd expect to be back on the ground in Queensland in the near term, would you?
Yeah, I mean, look, we're already working on the project. We're already working and continuing on with what we were doing before Christmas. We've got samples that are at the laboratory. We expect an update, you know, pretty soon. And of course, you know, there's work to do before the drill goes in the ground. There's work to do, but you know, that the team, the drill rig, and the work is all being conducted. We've not had a day off really. You know, there's been days forced upon us during the holiday periods, and you know, naturally we've had to go along with that and have a couple of pints of Guinness and a bit of turkey. But ultimately, we've not stopped on this, and that project is advancing. Early indicators are quite encouraging. Again, anybody who's got any interest or shareholders can go and look at some of the footage that we've put out there. You know, we're starting to see the indicators of what we'd like to see, based on, you know, the visible signs. And visibles are important. You know, when we were up in Queensland, we were seeing visible gold, so it wasn't something we would argue with. We know gold's there. And what we've found at Victoria is, when you're looking at this type of geology, you're looking to intersect quartz. We've found that. We're looking to find oxidized quartz. We've found that, and you know, there's been some suggestion from a lot of these sort of budding prospectors that there's gold present in the area too. So again, we can't give any guarantees, and investors must wait for the appropriate updates. But you know, we're encouraged.
Yeah, absolutely. Mike, good to catch up. Thanks for your time.
Yeah, thanks for yours.